Hello everybody and welcome to the next in our video education series. This is Pass the Mic with Dr. Mike. I'm Mike Regas, clinical pharmacist for the last 40 years and the last 30 years in the home infusion world, where I've had the privilege and honor of helping thousands of Pemphigus and Pemphigoid patients through their drug therapy needs. Today we're going to talk about a concept called biosimilars, and biosimilar is basically a generic version of an IV or intramuscular medication, where generics that we all know and love are really oral versions of copies of the brand name that are much less expensive and are thought to work the same. So they become very desirable for patients, doctors, and insurance companies alike because people can save a lot of money. So what are the characteristics of a biosimilar? First, they were approved by Congress way back in 2007. It was passed in 2010 by President Obama as part of an act, and the first biosimilar became available in the United States in around 2015. There are several concepts that a biosimilar must have in order to be FDA approved for its function. First, any difference between it and the brand name product must be clinically insignificant. Second, they must be similar in their ability to induce immunogenicity in the human body, which is the concept that the body responds to it and makes the appropriate proteins or other responses the same as the brand name product. Third, it must be similar in the pharmacokinetics, and that is how it's absorbed and how fast it gets in the blood and how long it stays in the blood. Fourth, it must be similar in pharmacodynamics, that is how it affects the body once it's in the body, as it causes the same effect as the brand name product. Fifth, it must be similar in their safety, potency, and efficacy and purity. And then sixth, it must be FDA approved for at least one of the same indications that the brand name product is approved for. And seventh, most commonly, the biosimilar product is intended to be somewhere between 20 to 30% less costly than the innovator product, and that savings should be passed on to the patient. That's the idea. And finally, eighth, there are currently over 100 biosimilars approved or in the process of being approved for use in the United States. At the end of this, the written part of this, which you can also find on PemPress, you'll see a listing and a link to the FDA website that will show you exactly which products are available as biosimilars currently. As of the beginning of this year, there were about 39 approved biosimilars of 11 previously approved products, with 22 biosimilars currently available on the market. Some are not rolled out yet at the time of the beginning of this year. It's estimated that the biosimilars saved about $7 billion in total drug spend in 2021, and it's also been shown that patient access to medication is improved for every drug with a biosimilar available, because many more patients can afford the lesser out-of-pocket cost that goes with it. Next, I want to talk about the impact on the patient, the physician, the insurance company, and the pharmacy, and then finally wind up with suggestions for navigating a biosimilar future. So first, the patient out-of-pocket cost. The intent, of course, is that 25 to 35% less cost will translate into 25 to 35% less cost out-of-pocket to the patient. That happens commonly, but not always. There's a lot of issues going on right now. That is, insurance companies are trying to figure out so for some drugs, like the drug Rituxan, which is one that is most appropriately used for Pemphigus and Pemphigoid patients, there are 3 biosimilars available now. So right now, one of them is about the same price as the brand name Rituxan, one is about 80% as much, and one is about half as much. And unfortunately, not every patient's going to be able to get the half as much one, because insurance companies are getting rebates from the drug company and because of other purchasing issues that occur. So not every patient is going to get the least expensive biosimilar, and therefore not every patient will get the least out-of-pocket cost. For the prescribing physician, it's a new kind of a problem, because a typical patient, for example, a typical physician may have more than 20 patients getting Rituxan right now for Pemphigus and Pemphigoid-like diseases. And right now, those 20 patients could be getting one of each of 4 different products, the brand name and 3 different biosimilars. Even though they're almost identical in response, the patients may have different questions, the dose packaging may be different, and the patients may be concerned. So if a prescribing physician is never sure which one the insurance company is going to approve, it may or may not be the one that physician likes the best, and also may lend the physician to be answering a lot of questions from patients they wouldn't normally be doing about different versions of the same drug. Next, insurance companies, they have the ability to use the least expensive one and pass those costs on to the patient. But unfortunately, in many cases, the insurance company is getting some kind of a rebate from the brand name product or one of the higher priced biosimilars, and therefore they're getting their out-of-pocket cost to the patient is going to be more than it would be because of this interaction between insurance companies and the biosimilar manufacturer. Next, the pharmacy has a significant obstacles as well, because they may need to be able to buy all 4 products, as we mentioned, but they normally don't buy all 4 of those. They also need to have contracts to sell all 4 of those biosimilars to the insurance company at a decent price so that it covers their cost. And then third, they may also need to have all those things in stock. So they may have a shelf now that has all of the rituximab-like products on the shelf in the same place, and would have the real brand Rituxan plus each of the 3 biosimilars they have to stock. So that makes it complicated for them. And finally, for patients and caregivers, this concept could significantly lower your out-of-pocket cost, but obviously it's a complex situation between prescribing physician, payer, and your out-of-pocket cost. So finally, I'd like to wind this up with giving suggestions for navigating a biosimilar future. For patients and their families, for which drugs or who are getting what drugs that are biosimilars available, the first thing I suggest you do is which innovator drugs are currently available as biosimilar for your disease. And you can look up on the website I'm going to give at the end of this, and the written version of this lecture, you can look up on the FDA website and see what's currently approved right now. Then the next thing is you need to contact your physician and contact your pharmacy and your insurance company to figure out which one each of them like, and also figure out, then you can log into the website of each of these drugs and figure out how much they cost, obviously arriving at the one that's the least costly and hoping that one is the one that's going to be prescribed for you so you can have the least out-of-pocket cost. Next thing is that once you are prescribed this, you need to contact, of course, your pharmacy to make sure they can get that drug, they have it in stock, and that they can provide it to you in a timely fashion that you need it. And finally, this all takes a lot of time and takes a lot of planning. And in many cases, a patient is newly prescribed a new drug that may not perceive that there are biosimilars available and what the possibility of them receiving it are, as well as the possibility that they can get it and save money. So as we did in the previous educational videos we've done, if you want to find out more about this, follow us on the Pemphigus.org website and the Pem Press part, and you can see the Pass the Mic with Dr. Mike videos there, as well as the written write-up that goes with it. And the written write-up that goes with this one has all the links I'm just referring to. At this time, I'd like to sign off. Please feel free. I'm open and interested if questions come to IPPF. We may have a subsequent follow-up to this Pass the Mic with Dr. Mike about biosimilars as new information comes. It may be something we want to do on a quarterly or so basis because things are changing rapidly. So hopefully that was helpful for you. Please feel free to reach out for us and ask for information or help. I'm happy to be involved personally. Thank you and good night.